All right, here we are. So this is the main interface in between missions. So it shows our ship. We're orbiting Phobos, Mars in the background. At this particular location, we currently have access to these mission locations. There are 5 missions available. I don't remember all the details about the symbology and colored or bright or not bright and all that. We'll figure that out as we go. There's a time passage. I don't believe you can pause it. You can just get down to 1x and then speed it up also. You move from orbital body to orbital body, and the trips take various amounts of time. And while you're traveling, the universe is advancing, meaning the corporations are doing research, they're building materials, they're fighting each other, they're generating missions, and so on. So time passage is very important, and I'll try to explain a little bit why here in just a little bit. They've added a bunch of stuff, so some of this I'm not going to be familiar with yet. Let's look at the spacecraft first. Most of this is completely new to me. None of this was in last time I played. It's the HIS Magnum control screen. From here, you can access the list of clone operators and the cargo hold. To go to the spacecraft's compartments, click on any compartment marker. All right, so up here we have our operators. These are the clones that we currently have access to that we can send out on missions. Each of these main body types or clone types is kind of specialized with certain bonuses and advantages. And you combine that with picking a particular class for them to play. And that combination will inform all of their abilities and traits and so on. And then as they do missions, they gain XP in their various perks and unlock perk abilities and make themselves more powerful. But when they die, they lose all that and they come back to their base clone state. So don't die. Good luck with that. All right. So he is a scout of Hades. These have not been assigned. No implants. He's healing up some damage, the 10 points of damage that we'd incurred. I thought I got rid of all of his equipment, so I'm not sure why he has any equipment weight listed, but whatever. But this screen here is kind of what you look at, and you compare against the others. So as an example, what's a good one to show? Is it Victoria that has... sight range of 10, kind of in the middle of that listing. Sight range of 10 for Victoria. Sight range 10. Who has the higher sight range? I thought one of these had a higher sight range. Nope. Ignores infections. There you go. Second from the bottom. So Isabella can ignore infections. She's the one, I believe, that you can go full cannibal with, because you don't have any danger of issues from eating flesh of the man. Plus 12 to all resist. So there's variations in their stats. Some are going to be geared better towards certain class combos than others. I don't remember the combinations. I'm going to have to stare and figure out who does what again, because I don't remember which ones are good at which things. But that's the idea here. And then system map. This is you can't zoom this screen. Still can't zoom. All right. But yeah, we're at Phobos currently, and we can scroll this window to all the orbital bodies. So starting with Mercury, the volcano, and the Citadel, Venus, Havoc, Mekta. These are generally either orbital or on-planet facilities, I assume. Earth has a Tsiolkovsky station, the Moon, and Fuller bases. Mars, where we're currently at, Phobos and Deimos. Moons. A whole bunch of other ones that have been added. None of this stuff was in before either. I think Mars was as far out as you could go when I played last. So I have no idea about this outer system stuff. Or maybe it was a little further out, but there's a whole bunch more entries on this list than I last played. But yeah, you can click on one and you could go there. So we could click Venus and it shows the missions that are available there. Missions will have times at the bottom. So time remaining 34 days. The travel time to that location, though, is 24 of those 34 days. And now I think this just got added in a patch within the last couple of days. I believe that's a tech level increase for that period of time. So the different corps that are available are going to be constantly leveling up their gear. They're going to be teching up. So an important consideration is if you do a lot of traveling, well, I guess I should say it's both an important consideration and a newbie trap. Be very careful about taking long trips in the early game, because during those long trips, the corps that you're facing off against are going to be increasing their capabilities. So if you do one mission on Mars, then take a long-ass trip to Mercury and do one mission, then take a longer-ass trip to Saturn to do a mission, by the time you get to Saturn, there's going to be a huge upgrade probably in the capabilities of the enemies you're going to face. So be very cautious and understand that travel time is very important and has a serious consequence. So just don't be jumping around willy-nilly chasing missions without understanding kind of the underlying consequences and effects that are going to happen. So we're going to be staying at Mars for a little bit. So let's just go back to Phobos here. But yeah, so you can move between locations. You can see the stations and the missions that are available and all that kind of stuff. So that's those two. Over here, we have the stock market. So we've got a lot of messages. These are messages, right? Coreword MG is interested in purchasing. Okay, yeah. These are messages about things that have happened. I think you can... can't make them go away. All right, whatever. All right, stock market. This screen has changed quite a bit since I last played also. These are all of the corporations. Almost all. It's long enough to need to scroll, at least at my resolution and settings. So we have Coreword at the very bottom that we can't quite see. So it's got the name, Tetsklan. That's the bad guys. That's the Quasimorphs, the alien/interdimensional invaders. So we got to be careful about that. And then this is their power level. Or whatever. I don't know what they actually call it in game, but essentially it's their power level. Some of these are going to be, I guess, larger, more important than others. Each of these corporations are basically kind of concentrated or focused on a particular aspect of the economy. So one might be an electronics manufacturer, one might be a transportation specialist, one might be a gun and weapon ammo manufacturer, things like that. So they each have their kind of lore storyline niche that they filled as a mega corporation in the solar system. And that somewhat informs the kind of gear that's going to be available from them. And your relationship with them, by doing good things for them, you get more relationship. By doing things against them, you lose relationship. But your relationship level is going to dictate what gear you have access to. So if they level, and tech up their gear to have better armor, better weapons, and so on, in order to get access to those, you have to do missions for them to raise your level. So it's a balancing act you have to pursue. You're also trying to curb the advancement of Tetsklan. If you know, I guess you could join them or help them if you'd like. I'm not sure how that works, but they're the main bad guy you have to worry about if you're playing a good guy kind of gameplay. And then you have to kind of pick and choose which of the other corps you're going to help. I know Ancom, I remember being a pretty important one. Realware, a pretty important one. Was it SBN? There's a few on this list I don't remember. Coreword MG has come up in mention already. Civil Resistance. These are the guys. They're the fight the power guys. And they're who we're having actually deal with now in a negative way. They're the ones that attacked us. I think there's a way. Yeah, information, leadership. Headquarters is unknown. A terrorist organization fighting to restore the nation states. So they want to bring down the corpo oligarchy and reinstate rule by nation states in whatever form. I don't know if they have a particular flavor that they want, but monarchy or democracy or whatever. Waging a long-term struggle against the anarcho-capitalist order and the ANCAP system. Goal to restore states which, in the CR's opinion, are capable of returning control and order. Yeah, I'm not going to read through all of this, but there's a lot of background and lore information available in the game world. It's really well done. I've played a number of board, miniature, etc. games that use a similar kind of corpo anarchist future hellscape type of setting, but it's pretty well fleshed out, and there's a lot of good detail in here if you're into the lore and other aspects. But there are some good pieces of information in here as well about just, you know, what they work and what they might specialize in and all that kind of stuff. So we can see information like their type is resistance, status is independent, their current strategy. This kind of gives you their current kind of goal is to work on their defenses. It could be, I don't know all the types, defense, attack, I don't know, research. There's a number of different things that they can choose, and it'll change as time goes by what each one's going to do, depending on what happens in the interscene warfare between the corps. How many faction assets they have, the total number of assets, their faction power. Yeah, faction power. That's what this number is, faction power. And then they're going to gain 24 power per week with their current assets. Some assets give faction power as a bonus. Some give manufacturing bonuses, etc. And that's why they go after each other assets. There's different asset types that give different bonus types. So they're gaining 24 per week in that faction power. Their tech level is 1, the lowest current level. My relations with them is -10. My reputation is -10 because we're kind of fighting each other at the moment. And they have active contracts at these locations, and they're in a defense mode, and they have defense missions available at these locations. So that kind of gives you an idea. Technology, these are the things that they have available. This is also, it's kind of two things. This is what they can sell you at your reputation level, and you'll notice there's more reputation levels, better stuff. Down here, unavailable, unknown. Looks like some kind of beam weapon or rocket launcher. I can't tell which. That looks like a flamethrower. Heavy machine gun. Bazooka. You know, you get the idea. Things get better as you get your reputation increases. But this is also what you're likely to face when you fight them. That's tech level, not rep level. Oh, that's their technology level to unlock these items, but doesn't represent my access to them via my rep level. All right, two different things. Cool. But yeah, so you can see what they're going to unlock as they level up their tech level. That thing that's increasing by 24 per week. They're currently level 1. This indicates what you're likely to face when you go on a mission against them. And it's going to be different for the various corps. So you want to be aware when you're going into a mission, who you're fighting, what you want to basically prepare for largely. This is not the entire list of what might be there, but it's going to be a pretty good majority. So we would want to have some kind of armor protection that might be beneficial against the shotgun and the Cricket 9mm. And oh god, the discs. Oh, the discs. So many amputations, including amputating your head. So yeah. So a lot of good information here. And then you can subscribe to them, which basically just means your news feed is going to give you info or highlight info about them, I believe. Yeah, brand new save. First run in a very long time. I've played it in the past, but it was like 2 years ago. So it's changed dramatically. I'm going to have to relearn a bunch of stuff. And I'm very, very out of practice. So essentially, it's a blind run. Well, not quite blind. I understand and I remember a lot of the overall things and the major points of mechanics and all that, but I haven't done it in a long time. So I'm going to make very stupid mistakes. I'm going to be ignorant. You know, good times. All right. So yeah, that's what we can do here. Good information. What else we got? This is, I don't know what this is. What are you showing me here? I have no idea what this is showing me. Cargo of some kind, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what this is showing me. Breaking the Pact, Quasimorphic Artifact. So it looks like it's showing me value of items. Huh. That's not every item in the game, I'm sure. Although we are down to employee IDs and clothes and stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure what that list is. I don't remember that. Trade goods? All right, sure, I guess. That's a system I don't believe was in last time I played. And then we have details on the Magnum. Missions complete. So it's a stat list for our character or our ship. All right, let's get out of there. So that's the Stark Market info. You can get a lot of details on who you're going to be fighting for and against and all that kind of stuff. So that's this interface. Let's look at some of the mission details stuff, see if I remember some of this stuff. So, Charon Dock Bay, or CDB. It's owned by Planet Bridge, Tech Level 1. These are just trading opportunities, I believe. So it's kind of showing the things. One of the weird things about the game is there's not a universal monetary system. You don't earn dollars or credits or whatever made up monetary name a futuristic game would use. It's mostly on a barter system. You largely will barter items back and forth. You give them items and you get like company script that you can then use to purchase their items, that kind of thing. There's not just a universal currency exchange. So it's a little weird, but you have to learn kind of where things are located, which stations produce certain things, which stations will receive certain things, and you go find those things and you turn them in, and then you can buy up to a certain value of items from what they have available. That tech list chart that I showed, that's largely what you can get from them in terms of certain types of gear. We'll experience it after we get a mission or two done. So that's what this one here, the not lit up one, is indicating. So this, I believe, is just a trading point. Here we have Canaan Terminal, which is Daydream Chem, Tech Level 1. It's an elimination mission. 2 skulls, but be careful with the skull difficulty info. That does not tell the entire story. So they've been trying to change this to make it a little less obtuse. But you've got to also consider how many floors are involved in the mission. What are the 3 things? There's the skull, there's the number of floors, and I think the concentration. So you've got to learn to parse the second line down that says difficulty with the 2 red skulls, the concentration, which I think is showing how many enemies are going to be per floor, and then how many floors. By combining those 3, you can kind of get an idea on how hard the mission is going to be. For example, you could have a higher difficulty, more red skulls, but if it's only 1 floor and a low concentration, it could be a whole lot easier than a long mission on 4 floors where you're going to be in that mission for a long time and you have to account for more food and things like that. So be careful. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that just looking at the difficulty of those skulls is going to inform you entirely on what you're going to be facing. So I don't remember enough about all these things. We're just going to be kind of picking things and doing a few things and likely, dying over and over again while I get back in the swing. But yeah, so we've got this one against Daydream Chem. Now, you can actually fight on either side. What these are, we're a mercenary group. We're being hired, or we're being offered missions for a company to go against a company. And we can choose either side of the conflict. So this one, right in the middle, you'll see it says there's a bar in green. It says Grasshopper Tech. So this is Daydream Chem against Grasshopper Tech. So we could choose either one of those that we could side with. And depending on who we side with, we gain rep with one, we lose rep with the other, etc. So, yeah, Daydream Chem and Grasshopper Tech. For Daydream, it's an elimination mission, which usually is go in and kill everything, or I think assassination missions are going in and kill one thing. Escort, oh god, escort missions. Everybody hates escort missions in every game ever made. Why do they still exist? I can't understand. With the generally universal disdain and hatred of escort missions, why game companies keep putting them in. All right, whatever. And then we've got Planet Ridge versus Realware. Both Tech Level 1, because we're right at the beginning. The Realware side is an infiltration mission, which I think is usually go in and get an item. It might be something else. I can't remember all the combos. Whereas for Planet Bridge is espionage. We got Tianming versus Civil Resistance. Civil Resistance, what is infiltration versus espionage again? And then we have we have Rogue City Colony story mission. So Tech Level 0, difficulty 5 skulls, 1 to 8. Oh, 1 to 8 rooms, 3 floors. All right. So this is what they want us to do to kind of push the storyline. This is the result of the attack on us. They want us to go do that, which they mentioned with civil resistance. I wonder why they don't show the civil resistance info here. Huh. Whatever. Espionage is get item. Infiltration is kill guys. To get item. Yep. All right, so I don't think I'm going to try this one initially. We could probably do it if I remembered how to play properly. I assume you could probably jump straight into this and do it if you're experienced. I'm going to not do that first. First thing I need to know is, can I just save anywhere? Save and so is it just going to make... Okay. So it makes save slots, but I can't save scum. I'm assuming. Yeah, nice quick in and out. All right. So yeah. What should we pick? I wouldn't mind punching Silver Resistance in the nose a few more times. So where's the one against Civil Resistance? That one. So we could go for Tianming on an espionage mission against Civil Resistance. So for Tianming, we'd be doing an espionage mission. It's 3 floors. Are any of them shorter than 3? No. They're all 3 to 4. I gotta look at both the top one and the bottom one. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll do this one. Let's do Orphan Mining Base, Tianming versus Silver Resistance. So if we select it, we're doing the espionage side. We can swap if we wanted to change sides to the infiltration side. We're going to do espionage, which is Tianming versus Silver Resistance. I think they've improved this interface. I remember it used to be a little confusing for knowing or remembering which side you were fighting for or on or selecting it or something. So this seems a little more clear. Task, take the Silver Resistance PCPU from Orphan and evacuate. So we got to go find the PCPU. It's going to be on the bottom floor, the 3rd floor. I think that's always guaranteed. We have to select an operator. And then the briefing details are, Orphan is held by the Silver Resistance. The assets of Tianming were attacked several times by rebel forces. Tianming wants to know about their plans. If Orphan serves the Silver Resistance as a base of operations, then the necessary data can be found there. You'll need to pick up the Portable Computer Personal Unit, PCPU. All right, so we're going for a laptop. From the Cold Node Commander. All right, so there's going to be a commander, probably at the bottom, 3rd floor, that we have to kill to get that PCPU. Extra, Orphan Mining Base is a mining facility on Phobos, Eternal Twilight, a suspension of dust, hard work, and spacesuits. It's just lore, extra lore info. Okay, so before we go, we have to pick an operator. Right now, we only have Francis Reed Daly, who is he still healing or is 6 hours gone by? I'm assuming he's available. I'm just going to go with him before we start getting other characters put together. So we'll pick him. So this is where I think we can see this on one of the other screens for developing our clones, but it shows the operator. He's a rookie, no implants. There is his stats. He is a Scout of Hades class, and here's the details on it. So these are the perks. We've got CQC Specialist at 1st level. Scatter, minus 25%. Shooting accuracy, plus 10%. So he gets more accurate, basically. Works with shotguns, SMGs, and assault rifles. And shooting a weapon gets XP in that category to level it up. Then we've got training, a passive perk. So passive perks just happen automatically, as opposed to needing to push a button or something to activate it. So 1st level needs 200 XP, calorie consumption lowered. So every 10 units of weight gives 1 XP when moving. Gear maintenance, passive perk. Physical resistance plus 15, armor durability plus 15. Each physical hit reduced by armor grants 2 XP. So taking hits in our armor levels this up. Gunsmith. Bonus weapon durability and lower weapon weight. Blind Fury. That one we had to activate during our run. We took a hit. We got basically XP. So each trigger activation gives 10 XP. So by getting hit that one time, yeah, we got XP for it. But activation burns your hunger. So going into turbo mode, going into Blind Fury mode speeds up our metabolism. We get a damage bonus, but we also burn calories faster. Fire Transfer. Crit chance plus 50%. Killing something activates the trigger. Each trigger activation gives 2 XP. Costs 10 satiety, has a 5-turn cooldown, works with submachine gun, shotgun, assault rifle. So we need to be using the shotgun. I don't know if that gun we're using counts as an SMG. I'll have to take a look. I think it's a pistol, though. And then Assault Reflex. Extra AP plus 1. So that one we also saw activate. We got a little bit of XP towards the next level on. Enemy missed attack on the player activates it. So every time somebody tries to hit us and misses, we gain some XP. Each trigger activation is 5 XP. Costs lots of satiety. So we're going to be burning hunger when these automatic things happen. Some of these are going to happen a lot. We're going to be careful to keep an eye on our hunger level. All right, and then there's also Eclipse Blades. We're going to stay with Scout of Hades for this one. But this has other traits. We'll look at some of them in more detail later. There's too much info right now to go through them all. Whoops. I think I canceled it. That one, right? Yep. All right, so back to this screen. I need to equip him. So we don't have a lot of choices here. Sort it. We've got a balaclava and the greyhound. I think the balaclava is better, so we'll put that on. The metal armored jacket. It weighs quite a bit, but it's got much better resistances. We don't have a set item combo yet. Let's go ahead and go with the armored jacket, and jeans is our only choice. We got sneakers and what is that? Stakhanovets? Interesting. Sure. All right, so we've got a tourist tactical backpack. Inventory size is greater, 6 times 2. It's got a load weight modifier, so it'll lower our weight calculation so that we don't burn as many calories for movement. But it doesn't have vest slots. These are 2 different things, though, so we can take that and take that. Blacksmith kit, gunsmith kit, and knife maker. That's essentially ways of repairing items in the field. Repair armor, repair weapons, repair ranged weapons, and repair melee weapons. I'm not going to worry about that for this run, so we're done here. Let's go back to weapons. So we were using, it wasn't the Galand, it was the Hydra. So this is a pistol. Do we have a submachine gun? We got the Storm TT submachine gun. That fits a little better with our class. We're also going to gain weapons that we loot from enemies, so it might be best to go in with just this and then pick up a shotgun from one of the enemies we're going to fight. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and take that as our primary. I'll just loot a shotgun once we get in. You're firing 9mm, I assume? Yeah, 9mm. So we got 42, we got 9mm, and we got 9mm. Let's just take one stack of 9mm in. And I'm not going to worry about grenades. Next up, food and meds. All right, so we will probably have an opportunity to loot some food, but we better take some. We definitely need some bandages. How do I take a portion? If I don't want to take all 4. Divide. All right, we'll take a couple of bandages. One splint. I don't remember which food really to take in. Let's take 400, 400, 300, 300. All right, let's take in one food, one water, and we got to take some kind of antibiotic. Well, yeah, we should take some kind of antibiotic. Actually, let's take the sorbent. All right, that's pretty much all the main categories. Get them all sorted back up again. Why take water? In case I get set on fire or need to drop a puddle. I think. I'm just going on vague memories. If you're looking for, you know, hyper optimized, coherent gameplay, you know, there's other places to go watch. This isn't going to be that. I know fire is bad, and I want to be able to deal with it if I get set on fire. I don't know how possible it is on this particular type of mission at this particular location. Maybe it's more likely in some places than others. We'll go with this, and we'll just deal. Oh, I only have the one food. I don't have... I can take 600 in a single with that, or just one noodle. Whoa, 1,000 for canned food. All right, let's take the canned food instead. There we go. I know I'm overdoing it probably in some ways, but I want to be better safe than sorry for this first run while we get things figured. All right, I think we're good. So, start mission for Tianming. All right. Would turn it into a fortress. Wouldn't be possible to land you near the target. Espionage operation to steal the PCPU. Not yet begun. Turned into a war. The good news, we've spotted the right device. It's marked on your map. All right. Let's turn. Make sure we get everything looked at. So, signal lost. No minimap. I can't remember. Is that because they've got jammers for the minimap stuff? Or I don't remember the reason why no minimap. Whatever. All right, so this is our dropship, our shuttle. So we're in a cave complex, it looks like, for this one. Let's go. Looks like contiguous wall all the way around. We got a break in the wall there, and I can't quite see that corner there. I think this is our only path, likely. So another thing you can do if you're worried about gas pumps is you can, or gas canisters nearby, you can remove the gas from them. You can throw it on the ground or throw it in your inventory, and then when they get hit, if there's no gas in them, they won't explode. So if you're in an area where somebody's about to shoot at you and there's gas barrels in the area and nearby, you might want to unload the gas barrels. Switch to stealth mode. Not seeing or hearing anything. So, opening and closing doors is free when you're in stealth mode. It doesn't cost any action points. So, yeah. Notice here I've got one action point. I can open it, close it many times as I want. So, it's another very important consideration for being in stealth mode. I don't believe there's anybody around, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to normal mode. Nothing there. We got an auto dock right at the start. Nothing in storage. Auto dock got charge. It's got 60% charge. Hello. I was a little worried about that. Good news is we've got another movement point. So I was about to have a conversation. I was looking for an opportunity to do it. I was about to have a conversation about being very, very careful about how many action points you have remaining when you A, step around a corner with unknown space that you haven't explored yet, or B, open a door. Do not ever do that with your one remaining action point, because then the enemy immediately gets to react and you have no action points remaining. So, what do we got? We got a raider. This is the 2 AP guy, so he won't... Ooh, he will be able to shoot us, because he'll be able to step here, which is going to actually let him shoot me in this position. So that's not good. And he's got the shotgun that I talked about. Then we got another raider right behind him with the pistol, the cricket. That guy's slow. So it's just the first guy that we're worried about. I could do an auto fire, but I'm going to get shot at by somebody. That guy's too far away to worry about quite yet. Another shotgun. So, again, if I move here, he's going to step forward and shoot me, because that L that I mentioned, I believe, will give him a clear line of sight. I can't change my current movement style until I use up all of the current style's points. So I can't just tap X to go to run mode and basically gain a point. So I'm stuck with what I got currently. I'm not sure if it would be better to go burst fire mode. Take a close range shot, 64%. Ugh. I think I'm going to have to take the risk of getting shot. Get shot once at close range or burst fire and hope. Really? Oh, did this just follow the rule of... Oh, okay. I forgot about this. So, what... I stepped out. I had an action point. I stepped back. What happened there is they can only see me during their turn. So, the fact that I stepped out, they didn't actually get to spot me. Because I was able to get back into cover, they don't know that I basically peeked around the corner like that. Now, they might move this way anyway, and if I make noise and such, they will. Noise is a factor in enemy detection and moving to locations and all that. But essentially, during my movement, if I can get into line of sight with them, but then get back out again, then it doesn't... They don't actually have an opportunity to shoot at me. So, I didn't... I think he was facing my direction. But yeah, their facing matters, so... I had forgotten about that little wrinkle. So now I can go ahead and switch to fast mode. I could step out, choose to burst fire or normal fire, and get back under cover again. Yeah, the bullets are physical things that actually travel along their arc and then vary off of their firing line by the scatter amount that's listed in the various tips and info screens. But if I shoot the first guy and the bullet misses, I've got an 80% chance and I happen to roll 81 to 100 and miss, the bullet keeps traveling and it might intersect the next guy or the wall or the red barrel or so on. So understand that consequence as well. That can be very useful tactically. All right, so yeah, we got back under cover. So we should be okay. The last guy was far enough away. He shouldn't be a factor. And the second guy won't be able to get a line of sight on me if I just move, shoot, move. So let's see what happens when we switch to fast mode. We move up. Oh, they shuffled around quite a bit. All right. That's the guy that has only one action. I think the other guy is over here. He shouldn't be able to shoot me. So, 49%. Why are we at 49% on this guy at this range? I'm on single. Oh, this is a submachine gun. The number's going to be different. I got to remember that. It's a different weapon than I used before. Crit chance 8. Scatter 2.3 degrees. Effective range of 4. What's the fall off info? Yep, 4 to 9. Also, we have advanced knockback range and knockback on this one. Target knockback 2 tiles when a knockback is triggered. Alright. Rate of fire 4 to 6. That's why. So we have a lower percent, but we're spewing bullets. So it's going to shoot 4 shots as opposed to shooting 6 with an even lower accuracy number. Alright. No problem. I understand now. So the other pistol we had was a single shot pistol. It was high accuracy, but you're getting a lot less output. So 49%. Still not great. Let's give it a try. Brap. Alright, so we now have the fire transfer triggered. So killing activates the trigger. So we now have an additional 50% crit chance. That guy is too far. He's within technical range, but our damage is going to be really low. I think it's best just to step back around the corner. This guy, I believe, will step around towards us. So we got 1 action point left. Let's do that. Back out again. Hey, buddy. Aha! One of the bullets did a pass through and hit the guy way back there because we have a nice straight trajectory. Nice straight line. You're using what? Shotgun? And shotgun has got what? The 4 range out to 7 or 3 range for max damage, and then it fades out to 7. So I think we're technically in range of him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so he could take pot shots, but we got a pretty good chance of killing him with another blap. We are using ammo 4 at a time on this mode. Didn't quite kill him. What's his status? We did break his shoulder. He's got a contusion, not a break. So 2% infection chance, no implant, self-healing. He's down to 4 hit points. Yeah. Alright, so there we go. Now there could be other enemies up here I gotta be careful about. Let's hide for a second. I'm gonna switch to sneak mode. Wait a few turns. Let's go back to run mode. Not available while running. That's fine. Alright, I don't think there's anybody else in here close. So, normal mode. We got shotgun ammo. We'll take that. We'll go ahead and grab the shotgun for our secondary. That was the plan. We've got the red front garments. No, don't think so. Don't need any of that. Do we start disassembling? We've got very limited space. We could grab rags. It's all rags. We are going to need to start building up our supplies. So, let's go ahead and do a little bit of this. Get some rags going. Not going to start chopping up bodies yet. Alright. We'll go ahead and take the ammo. And get another stack of ammo there. We got some cigarettes. So cigarettes, as you can see in the info box there, it's a general action drug. It lowers the Quasimorphosis counter. We don't at this location have to worry about that, but when we go to other orbital bodies where Quasimorphosis does happen, it acts kind of like a timer that counts up. Various actions and time passing and certain things that happen are going to increase the Quasimorphosis counter. This is a way of bringing it back down again, because when that counter hits certain benchmark values, things happen. So you want to try to lower the Quasimorphosis level on occasion, and this is one way to do it. Indicates how many uses. It also has a nicotine addiction chance, so you're you know, you can use it to lower quasimorphosis, but you might get addicted and have to use it regularly. I'm not going to worry about picking that up. I'm going to go ahead and get the ammo, though. Is there a faster way of doing this, by the way? Are there hotkey numbers I can hit to, like, disassemble? Is, like, this number 1, number 2, number 3, or... I don't think that's the way that works. It just feels a little cumbersome to always have to right-click, pick, right-click, pick, right-click, pick. Alright. We are done with all 3 of our opponents. So, let's hit number 1, do a fast reload. Whoa! Holy crap. 5 AP reload time. So I'm a little confused. Is 5 AP the normal reload? Because I reloaded from the vest. Huh. So it's got a pretty good magazine size, but we're firing 4 at a time. So that's basically 8 shots at the standard. 4 bullets per burst. But yeah, that's a lot. We can't fire that again until the reload's done too, so that is a big tactical consideration. Alright. Let's go ahead and switch to slow mode. Pass a turn or 2. Back to fast mode going around the corner. We got doors, and I'm not sure if there's doors or openings here. And we got an opening to the north. Okay. Cyborg arm. Okay. Cyborg part. Blunt 57 to 80 increase, crit damage increase, throw range of 4. There's a lot more clone modification stuff in the game now than when I last played. Also takes up 2 slots in my inventory. I'm going to leave it behind for now. Dead end. Oh, these are walls. I couldn't tell that that was a wall. Yeah. They've changed a bit how this system works from when I last played. So I'm relearning and unlearning old habits. Well, we found the elevator. Do we have a map yet? Still no map. Don't think there's usually enemies in the elevator rooms. You got stuff. Chemtrail, toxic ammo, corrosive and poison spreading. Yeah. Isn't there like a poison needler or something that fires that ammo type? I'll leave that. I'm not going to take this. Well, the mission we have is just to get to the bottom level and get the PCPU. So I could just dive straight for it and then get back out again. We have this food bar, satiety bar, that we have to be worried about. I brought some food. And then we have loot opportunities for gear and such if we go out killing everybody. But it might be better just to dive straight for the mission completion. Yeah, let's go. Let's dive for the mission completion. So, floor 2. I mean, I know they're containers, but I just don't know some of the graphics on which ones have stuff in them or not. So, we'll figure that out as time goes by. Like I said, I'm not worried about hyper-optimizing stuff. I'm just relearning bulk materials. We'll go through and be a lot more efficient about stuff later. Only thing I want to do right now is learn the basic movement and fire controls and try to complete the mission. Stocked with new sets of tools, nail guns, crowbars, and so on. Nothing of real value. Keep it in mind. All right.